Greetings. This is Adam Rafferty, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City. In this series of lessons, I'm going to teach you how to play my arrangement of the beautiful love song, or anti-love song as it were, called I Can't Make You Love Me. And this was made famous by Bonnie Raitt, but there's been a bunch of other versions as well, like Adele has done a version, George Michael did a version, Prince did a version, Boys to Men did a version, and Priyanka Chopra. No relation, I don't think, to Deepak Chopra, but she's an Indian singer and actress. So this is a really great song that extends past stylistic boundaries, especially if it goes from Bonnie Raitt to Boys to Men. So I'm going to show you how I play my arrangement. Now, I haven't played this in a really long time, and I've kind of dug it out recently and started brushing it up again because it's such a beautiful song. Now, I've got some notes for you here. By the way, it was written by Mike Reed and Alan Shamblin, and it was on Bonnie Raitt's 11th album, Luck of the Draw, 1991. And I believe that Mike Reed was at one point an NFL football player. You might need to check me on that, but it just goes to show that even big, tough guys can be very sensitive. Okay, so I've got this capoed at the 3rd fret because the original key center on the Bonnie Raitt recording, it sort of revolves around B flat major and G minor. So you're going to see tablatures, and there's kind of a debate about how I should have written these tabs. Should this string, for example, have been written as an O or as a 3? So I'm writing it as a 3. I'm writing it for what it is in the tabs that are going to follow in the videos. Pretty much because, if it was lower on the neck, it's easy to do the math. But once you have to start adding 3 to everything, it gets a little bit complicated. So the numbers you see are going to be the numbers of the actual frets. However, when you see the 3s, it will be an open string. Okay, just so we got that. Now, a couple notes. Bruce Hornsby, the piano player, his sound of voicings became very characteristic in this as he played on the piano track. So there's lots of added notes to chords. For example, if you had a C-shaped chord, Bruce Hornsby might have done a voicing like this. It's called an added ninth. You don't need to know what it's called. So I'm going to be doing things within the arrangement with harmonics, extra open strings ringing to try to simulate the sounds, the overall feeling of some of those voicings. Okay, so the main idea with this one is to have as many open strings and have as much ringing of the guitar as possible. I do recommend that for phrasing and for rhythm, you just listen to the original Bonnie Raitt recording. You can find it on YouTube to help you learn the song. Just get the sound in your ears, because basically what I've got here in the arrangement is going to be some chord shapes. It's pretty simple compared to some of my more rhythmic arrangements. The tricky thing here is playing cleanly with the right hand and figuring out how to get things to ring as much as possible. Okay, so I have some kind of funny techniques that I've been working on last couple hours before turning the cameras on, but I'll just address those right in the music lesson videos. So let's get started learning how to play I Can't Make You Love Me. All right. All right, so let's get started now with the intro of I Can't Make You Love Me. Now, I do something completely different here from the Bonnie Raitt recording, which I will explain to you. Basically, on her recording, the keyboard and instruments, they play the melody of the verse as though it's an instrumental interlude. So let me repeat that. That might sound kind of complicated. The band, without the vocals, plays the same melody that the vocals sing. Now, that's cool if you have a vocalist, but there's no way for me or for us as instrumentalists to really define the difference in the sound of the material. So it would almost sound like we're playing the verse twice. So instead of playing the verse melody as the instrumental interlude, I made something up that would just fit. And so we're going to do something based on, in this case, the true value is it's a G minor chord. It's an E minor shape. And I was inspired from the sound of the Finger Lakes song from Tommy Emmanuel. So I have a little something, and I'm going to just show you the chord shapes first. There's a couple different things you could do. Okay, so imagine bass note, and then the top 4 strings, nothing on the 5th string. Then you're going to move up. You're playing the 3rd finger and the 1st finger. Top 4 strings. Then you're going to do 3rd finger and 2nd finger. All with the low string. Okay, we're going to, and then and after the second time when we get up there, we're going to do this. Okay, watch. Don't worry, I'm going to go over it all again. So let me show you the ending part first. 6th string, 2nd string, and you're going to fret the 6th fret with your 3rd finger. And then, so I'm fingering that one and I'm going. Okay, so, excuse me, there's one more option that I want to show you. If you like the sound, you can just go up the 4th string. That gives you some different tonal combinations. So that's just another thing you could do. We're gonna razzle on these with arpeggios, but let me just show you the sound. That's also, see, that's kind of nice. So it's up to you if you want to just do the 4th string or if you want to do the 4th and 3rd string. So here's where, that's the easy part. So here's where it could get tricky. Now, I've had to revisit some of my classical right-hand guitar technique where I put all 3 fingers on adjacent strings and I try not to move my hand at all. And depending on your way of playing, that may or may not be easy. So you can use whatever fingers you want for what I'm about to show you. You could do it all with your thumb. You can do it with, you can jump fingers around. I want you to just find some kind of pattern that is comfortable for you, because the main purpose of this section is that we just razzle on this G minor for, how many bars is it? 4 bars. Okay, so you need not play the exact thing that I'm playing. Now what I'm going to be doing here is, I don't know if you can see it in the right-hand camera, I'm going to be using my index, middle, and ring finger on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, okay? And then sometimes I'm going to go out of position and I'm going to grab the top string with my ring finger. Okay? Now, let me play you the pattern. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Let me go even slower. I'm going. Let's just stop there. So I'm always going IMA, index, middle, ring, pretty much. And so it's this rolling sound of 3 notes going against the rhythm, which is divided into 4. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, another point, this is really depending on your playing. You'll notice I'm not using a thumbnail. I'm not using a thumb pick. Sometimes, if I'm standing with the strap or depending on what day it is, it feels perfectly good to like land my thumb on the A string. But it can get very scrunched up if I keep it there. So sometimes what I do is I will move it up to where the wood is on the guitar, and I'm actually leaning here so that that string can ring, and then I'm grabbing stuff with my fingers. Most guitar teachers would not want you to do something like this. This decision is based purely on sound because I want that note to ring, and sometimes when it gets scrunched up, the back of the thumb, stops the E string, see? Because my strings are very close together. So you don't have to do any of this, but we want to keep an ear open for that low note ringing as long as possible. Okay, so we're going to do, as I said, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And now watch. So that's the pattern that I kind of came up with that I like. Okay, I'm going to go super duper slow. Okay, so we're gonna climb up and down, and then we're going to go up again and do the ending that I showed you. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay. I probably ought to explain the rhythm that you're going to be playing on that. Let me demonstrate that while counting. I will play you bars 3 and 4. Okay. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 1. Let me play that last bar again. 1, 2, 3, and. So that high note is coming right on 1, 1. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the other things roll up into that there before beat 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? And 3, 4. Okay? So like I said, you could even strum this. It's just an instrumental interlude. to provide contrast to the verses. So don't get too hung up on the technique if that's giving you trouble, because this kind of classical stuff, I worked on this a little bit. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to play this for you one more time, okay? A 1, tick, tick, 2, tick, 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 1, 2, 3, and... Okay, so one of the things that I'd like to point out to you that's invisible, you're not seeing this, but you're hearing it, is as I'm doing all of this, with this second finger, I'm muting the 5th string. So we don't want to hear that string. So I'm muting. You can barely see it. I'm just touching a little bit of flesh on that 5th string, okay? Again, I'm using on the 3rd finger. You can't see it. I'm playing the 4th string, but there's this I'm just making enough contact with the 5th string so that this string is deadened. Okay. Now, before we finish this segment up, I mentioned to you that you could leave the 3rd string off. Let me play you what that's going to sound like if you want to do that variation. Okay, 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, and in this case, you don't have to do this when I'm leaving my thumb there because that grounds me. That's kind of nice also with the 3rd string open. I just came up with that today because I'm going to be bringing this tune, I think, maybe back into my concert repertoire. And so that's open for discussion, that open 3rd string. Okay, so let's go right into verse 1. Let's go to the next lesson. All right. All right, welcome back. We are now at the verse of I Can't Make You Love Me. We're right at the top, and I'm going to show you the first 2 bars in this video. Even though it's only 2 bars, there's quite a lot of tricky, I wouldn't say tricky, but there's quite a lot of uncommon fingerings that we're going to be using to make the strings ring. Okay, so when I imagined that I wanted to do this song, I wanted a sort of dreamy sound, a beautiful sound to the melody. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing, and you're going to be doing too, instead of fretting all the notes, we're going to use harmonics, which are going to be at the 15th fret, because that's like the 12th fret, but we have the capo at the 3rd fret. So it's like 12th fret harmonics. And we're going to be using this as the melody. Watch. Okay, so those are the first melody notes. So it's 1st string, 4th string at the 15th fret, 2nd string. Okay. And you might notice in the right-hand camera, this is a peculiarity of how I've been playing currently. Sometimes if I need a more focused sound on the bass strings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, sometimes I use an index finger like a bass player. You don't have to do that. If you use a thumb pick or a thumbnail, you might get enough point on the note, but if I need a little bit more point, I can get a pointier sound with my index finger. So you'll see I often look like a bass player over here. Okay, so watch what we're going to do. We're going to come up to the 11th fret, and you're going to position your right hand so you've got your thumb on the 6th string, you've got your index finger on the 3rd string, and either the ring or middle finger on the high E string. Okay? And this note has to come right on beat 1. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, but I'm gonna do a little roll up to that, which is actually gonna come on the and of 4 after we do. So when I say the and of 4, if we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the way I'm doing that with the right hand, those are 16th notes, by the way. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and See? 4 E and that's the rhythm. 4 E and bang. So these notes are accompaniment, but it makes everything sound even clearer if we can arpeggiate chords rather than pluck all the notes at the same time like this. Watch. I prefer to roll it. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. Then I'm doing, thumb is on the 5th string. And then I'm doing with my pinky harmonic on the 15th fret. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Okay. Next, we're going to put a little accompaniment chord after turn out the lights. Oop. Watch. So watch what that is. Now these notes are of a lot less importance than this note, because this ba 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 ba, that's a vocal note. Okay, so we want to play this really quietly, and we also want to allow the 5th string to ring. Okay. See what I just did? One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, we can still hear that 5th string ringing. Next, see, turn. Let me show you what that is. We're in position here because we did that accompaniment chord, and the melody is going to be, the melody is going to be. Now with the 2nd finger, and then you're going to put those fingers down. And you can maybe even brush a couple extra strings that's not in there, but the 4th string should then ring. So we don't want to strum something that's going to stop that 4th string from ringing. We want that should ring long. Okay. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Now in all of this, I'm trying to allow everything to ring. This one is still ringing quietly, see? Okay, that's that ringing sound that I was talking about. Okay, so we've almost got bars 1 and 2 down. I'm going to play it one last time for you, nice and slow. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the intro leading up to this so you can hear how it comes out of that and falls into the beginning of the verse. Okay, so here we go. From the top, we're going to do intro and bars 1 and 2 of the verse. All right. 1, 2, ready, and. Three, 4. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next video where I show you how to play bars 3 and 4 of the verse. All right. Welcome back. We are now at bars 3 and 4 of the verse. So we ended on a shape on the end of bar 2. It was something that kind of, well, it's this chord: 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. And then what I like to do is I do a pull-off as the pickup to the melody. I don't know if that Bonnie Raitt actually sings that, but I'll show you where I place that. Okay, so coming out of bars 1 and 2, we're going to have played this. So that's the beginning of bar 3. I go pull off, and then I hammer it back onto the chord. That's really turn down these voices. That's the lyric, so I take a little liberty with the melody. Okay. Now watch what I do. I let go. 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 4th fret, sliding up to the 6th. Turn down these voices. And now the chord that I add, I put my first finger on the 5th string. I'm holding my 2nd finger, adding the 3rd finger there, 7th fret. Turn down these voices. Now, she kind of hints at that high melody note, so I play that rather softly. I'll go. And in this case, you might have noticed with the right hand, I'm just going up with the thumb. Again, I'm going to keep repeating this. You don't have to do any of this right hand stuff the way that I do it. A lot of my problem solving has to do with keeping the strings ringing, not bumping into strings, and with these big fleshy fingertips and strings that are very close together, I have to do peculiar things that I might not do if I was playing a different guitar or had fingernails. But you can play that with any sort of finger picking combination that is comfortable for you. Okay, so bar 3. Let me show you a trick that I'm doing over here. Right, I'm preparing. I think I'm preparing all 3 fingers over here silently. They're touching right after that. You don't see it, so that I'm set up. See, the 2nd and 3rd are. 3rd is there. So it it happens so fast, it's like sleight of hand. You wouldn't know it's happening, that I'm going and then I'm planting. But that's precisely the kind of thing that's going to help you feel secure in a performance, because it's when your hand is out here not touching anything, you get insecure, and then you start swiping and clawing, and you have no, you got the feeling that the ground isn't under you. So these are these instincts that I've got from playing for years. Everything is touching by the time I play that. Plant. See, everything's planted. And even if you did like a more, if you did something with your thumb, or however you play those low strings, you can get the top three ready. That's just a good tip, to plant fingers with the right hand before you even need the note. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, now we're just going to lift the second finger. Okay, I'm playing 6th string. Matter of fact, you could even lift the first finger. You don't need it. All you need there is the 3rd finger. All you need is the 3rd finger. Now watch. You're going to slide the 2nd finger down from the 6th fret to the 5th fret. Then a pull off. And then you're going to add a 5th string. Turn down these voices inside my head. Turn down these voices inside. And then I'm grabbing that note, even though we don't need it, just in case something's ringing, in case that 4th string gets bonked and wants to ring, that note will sound good, but I'm not really striking it. Okay. Turn down. Okay. There you go. That's bars 3 and 4. We're going to have a pickup into bar 5, but let's leave that for the next video. So right now, what I'll do is I'll play you bars 1 through 4 of the verse. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Played this low chord kind of funny. It was funny. I went for the thumb. I went for that with the right hand. Let's try that again. Okay, 1, 2, a little slower. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Another tip there, when I'm grabbing this chord, I'm using the thumb ever so slightly to mute that low E string. Okay, so all this muting stuff may sound kind of crazy, but the vision that will help you do the muting stuff, there's a mental image that you can have. It's basically this. You've got a bass player and you only want one note coming out of the bass. You only want one note coming out of the bass, because bass notes, when there's more than one, sound very muddy. They start to rub up against each other in a very undefined way. Meaning if they're not part of the same chord. Okay? See? I can hear that is not as clear as I'd want. So See how that cleaned things up? I'm not fretting anything. I'm just using the littlest bit of flesh touching that string to just damp it. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go on to the next video and get bars 5 and 6 of the verse happening. All right. Alrighty. At the end of the last lesson, I promised to teach you bars 5 and 6 in this video, but I think I'm going to extend that offer. I'm going to teach you bars 5 through 8 of the verse, pretty much because the material repeats itself. And I'd like to just talk a little bit about this for a minute. In some of the songs that I teach, Michael Jackson songs, Beatles songs, Stevie Wonder, and probably in the future, something by Chaka Khan, there are some real idiosyncratic, very special differences from verse to verse that the vocalists do that really the listener would expect. However, with this song, I feel that the basic information of the melody is all that you really need. I didn't really go deep into copying Bonnie Raitt's phrasing. What I would suggest, though, is that you familiarize yourself with the words. Now, I'm about 80% familiar with the words. Turn down the lights, turn down the bed. Okay, so that hopefully with those lyrics going as I play the song, I can convey the song better. And I would really recommend that for you so that your melody playing has a vocal quality. Okay, and there's another thing that I'd like to point out. It just occurred to me. This is another liberty that I've taken. The melody that she actually sings, she does, turn down the lights. Turn down the lights. But it's a nice, soulful kind of bend. That was a liberty that I've taken to do the harmonic instead, to get the guitar to sound dreamy I've chosen that over doing that exact phrase. Okay, so let's get back to bars 5 through 8 of the verse, as I promised. So bar 5, again, is going to be 1, 2, 3, and same. That was bars 5 through 8. And then it's going to do, I suppose, what I will call the pre-chorus after that. Okay? So it's the same material. So how about I play the intro for you and then bars 5 through 8, just so you can watch it go by, and I'll try to do it slowly. Okay? So here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. And then we're going to be at the pre-chorus. And it's funny too, something that comes to mind. One last piece of advice. I usually practice standing up because I do my gigs standing up. Now, this is going to sound really lame that I say this, but everything changes when you sit as opposed to standing, because I have a guitar that's more in a position like this when I stand, and then all of a sudden angles change. Now, I just had a member on Study with Adam say to me, hey, you know, I'm going to go do an open mic, and I'm used to sitting, but they told me that there's no chair on the stage, so I'm going to have to stand. And, you know, I told him, I said, insist on what you're used to. Don't go to a performance and change things up. So, like this whole thing, I did it with the thumb the second time, and it was cleaner, but I could feel something moved because I'm sitting. Now, like I said, that might sound kind of lame, but it's true. Sitting and standing is a totally different experience. So be sure when you perform that you are doing the thing that you're comfortable with. Okay, so that's just a little side note here on the lesson. Let's go to the pre-chorus of I Can't Make You Love Me in the next video. All right. All right, welcome back. We are now at the first pre-chorus of I Can't Make You Love Me. And there's something very peculiar that happens. There's actually a bar of 2/4 time. So if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, it kicks off with a sort of little irregular beat thing, which if all you've ever do is sing along with the cover version, or the version, I should say, you'd never even notice it. You know, I've always done this by ear, and it didn't occur to me that this bar of 2/4 exists until I had to write it and look at it, because basically I have music here on the floor so that what I play matches what you see on the screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sing bars 7 and 8. I'm going to start on 7 and 8, and I'm going to count with my fingers like this. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll try to do it like this, okay? Is it better up here? I don't know. Okay, so watch. Ba 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 da da. Here it comes. Bom ba ba bom ba ba. Did you see there was one time I only did 2 fingers? That was a 2/4 bar when I did ba ba do dee dee. Like I said, you wouldn't even realize this happened unless you actually think about it. Let's do that spot one more time, okay? So I'm taking it from except I'm singing it so that you can see the fingers counting, okay? And then I'll show you how to play it, okay? So this turn down, down, down. We've done this. We've done that playing wise, okay? So bar 7. Bum 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 bum. Bar 8. Bum ba da da. Here we go. Bum ba ba dum ba da 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 da. So then we're in the hook, which is going to be the next video. So let me show you how to play this on the guitar now that you know how to count it. Okay, so we've got bar 7 just leading up to it. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're actually gonna, after you do, if you count 4 hits with your thumb on the 5th string, you'll end up in the right place. Okay, even though that's divided between 2 measures. Okay, so it'll be like 2, Don't patronize. That's the lyric. Okay. Let's do that much. Once again, bar 7. One, two, three. Okay, so now that rhythm I'm doing, I'm hearing boom, bam, bum, bum, bam, bum, bum. I think it's not exactly what I wrote on the page. Okay, then watch what I do here. I grab that at the 8th fret on the 5th string. We could have gotten it as a D, but it's cleaner to get it there. And now what I want you to envision is that is a long vocal note that we kind of want to imagine is still ringing. Except we're going to do to give it a little bit of motion, because in the original recording she just goes, don't patronize. So we're just adding some extra kind of motion while that imaginary melody note is being held. And we're going to end, don't patronize. Okay. So this whole thing that we're going to do is accompaniment. Okay. So you have an idea of the hierarchy of the sounds. Okay. Let's take it again from bar 7 into the pre-chorus. Okay. See, I'm playing that with fingers, but you can do that with the thumb. Let me go a little bit slower. That was a little bit too quick. Okay. Bar 7. 2, 3. I can't make. Okay. So now that pre-chorus is a little bit different the next time it comes around, which is why I'm calling this the first pre-chorus. Okay. One more time. Let's do, how about, let me do bars 5, 6, 7, 8 into the pre-chorus so you can hear it coming from a little bit further back. Okay? 1, 2, ready, and. Okay? And now we're going to be up on the hook. All right, let's go to the next video.